Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at something missing. This video is sponsored by CMO Games. More on that later. So I can't help but noticing as I peruse Games Workshop's web store that a certain number of things are missing. And I don't just mean regular stuff that's sold out, like the entire Tyranid range or most of the Space Marines. I mean actual stuff that's just completely gone from the store. So I was actually looking at the terrain section and looking for, some themed battle terrain tables. What would be next on the list for potential stuff to paint up and do battle on, and potentially what's to come. So as I scroll down and look over the terrain that is currently available, I can't help but think of the previous sets that it came in. And essentially, as we look at this, we see that there's very little actual terrain left for sale. Games Workshop has produced tons and tons of terrain over the years, and most of it is just permanently gone from the range, which is very unfortunate because most of the terrain they sell is really cool. So let's kind of take a look at the four main styles of terrain that we saw previously, and then the fifth style, which is the more recent one, and then kind of potentially what's to come after that. So if we scroll back up here to the top, we'll see that essentially the Kill Team season, last season, not the Into the Dark terrain, is a really good kind of sampling of the terrain that was available. So we first saw the orc terrain. Now there's none of that actually available on here, but it was essentially like the Octarius set. Very cool terrain. You got a ton of it in the box set, and this kind of like bunker kind of goes along with it. Now this is the actual like thematic terrain for the orcs, but it was in like the same style and everything. Really nice stuff. There were big block pieces. You could put it all together to make big buildings. There was lots of individual like scatter terrain as well. Really good stuff. And that came in the Octarius set. Next after that, we had the Kill Team Chalnath set. And that one was all the Sector Imperialis ruins. And it was basically just a reprint of all the terrain that came in the initial Kill Team box. Really nice terrain, what you would call your like classic ruins. There was big arches, there was the ability to make modular and just massive buildings. Very, very cool stuff. But all of that is completely gone from the range, with the exception of the Sector Imperialis ruins, which is basically just like the remaining scatter terrain. So after Kill Team Chalnath, we saw Kill Team Nakmund, and Nakmund was basically a combination of a bunch of Sector Mechanicus stuff. Now we'll see that the Sector Mechanicus Sacristian Forge Shrine is still in stock, the Transtranic Gantries are still available, and then also we have the Mechanicus Galvanic Magnavault. But realistically, like all three of these things are basically composed of the same four sprues, and there's a bunch of other Battlezone Sector Mechanicus stuff that's no longer available. Some of it came in that set, like the big cylinders, which made like good line of sight blocking terrain, or there was like some round kind of pieces in addition to like this kind of stack right here in the middle. Pretty cool stuff, and a lot of that came in Nakmund, but we see that some of that is still available, but a lot of it is gone permanently from the range, or at least for now. So that was the third set of terrain from our Kill Team season. And in the fourth box set for the previous Kill Team season, we saw the introduction of the Marok terrain. And the Marok terrain is really cool. It's basically just the Frontieris terrain brought back with a bunch of new stuff as well. So previously there was like a Sector Frontieris kind of thing, and it was basically like this building right here, and then a couple of pieces of scatter terrain, similar in shape and size to this, but it basically fit along with the Battlezone Frontieris stuff. And not only did we get the actual Frontieris box set right before that, but then we actually got a bunch of those pieces included in the actual Kill Team set. So this was a really nice set, and this is the biggest set that's still available now, the most amount of terrain if you were looking to build like a thematic table. This is the one that's demonstrated by Games Workshop quite a bit in like the Combat Patrol in the rulebook, and also in the main game in the rulebook, and is definitely like the biggest part of terrain for the existing line. And now we see a lot of this same stuff is being reprinted in the largest of the starter sets. So we know that this terrain is not going anywhere. This is going to be the main terrain for the edition because it's featured in the starter set. And that was the most recent terrain that we got in the previous season. So now that being said, we've basically covered the majority of the terrain, with the exception of, if we scroll all the way down here, I think it's important to pay attention to actually what came in the previous edition the 9th edition starter set. So if you picked up the largest of the 9th edition starter sets, similar to the 10th edition one that was just shown off, this would be the terrain that would come in it. You would also get a bunch of models as well, but this is essentially the equivalent of the previous edition terrain set. And this was a really nice terrain set, very cool. It was all push fit and very compatible with a lot of the other stuff. Like you could basically use some of the ruins from the Sector Imperialis set right along with this, and it would look like it blended in well. It had the perfect blend of basically like Mechanicus, kind of like machine and metal bits, but also like the Sector Imperialis, like kind of ruin look to it. Came with some cool pipes and everything, some cool like accessory large line of sight blocking pieces, and then like some ruined buildings. And once again, it was very modular, so you could put multiple pieces together to make even larger stuff. And then we also have this, which is the Battlezone Manufactorum Sanctum, which is very similar. It's slightly different, but again, fit along very closely with this. So now we see this is permanently gone, and this is permanently gone, and it has been replaced with the Morak stuff. And then there's one more set that came out with Kill Team this we're talking about as well, and that is the boarding action strain, the indoor stuff. So that came not too long ago, obviously boarding actions towards the end of 9th edition, and that was all the terrain that was featured in the most recent Kill Team season. Now, in addition to that, there was also some cool like limited upgrade sprues that you could only get, mostly used for like thematic play if you wanted to use specific missions and do cool stuff. But there was lots of neat things in there, but again, it was all designed for like the in-tour battle. So here we are at the beginning of 10th, and we basically know that the Morok terrain, I'm not sure why it says necromunda right here. It's definitely the Morok set. But going forward into 10th edition, we know this is going to be the terrain that is featured in the new starter set, and then a couple of pieces that aren't actually featured in the set, but are basically, you know, along with it. So I would suspect that this is not going anywhere anytime soon because it's in the main starter set. And it's only the beginning of the edition, so we probably have about 3 years with this terrain from here on out. And it does look like more and more of the limited pieces that are left over from the previous kind of like battle zones or styles of terrain are going to slowly go away as they just kind of sell out. So as we're getting ready to go into a new season of Kill Team, it's already been announced. We kind of know the setting. It's on what appears to be like a wooded environment, look like a little island or something like that. We don't know a ton about it so far, but we know that it's going to have some Space Marines and then also some Eldari as well. And there's definitely some speculation or like thoughts, rumors that it's going to be Catachin Imperial Guard versus Eldari Striking Scorpion Aspect Warriors. Both of them need a new kit, and it would make perfect sense if they did a Kill Team set with both of those in it, and it was like a wooded kind of like jungle type scene. Now, of course, that's just speculation for now, but it would make sense. It's been a long time since we had new Catachin models, and we definitely need them. They're very cool, very popular. And then also Striking Scorpions have been a part of the Eldar range forever. They've had a couple different remakes of the Scorpions, but they're well overdue for a plastic kit. So maybe that's the case, and we'll have like some new style of ruins or some trees, some kind of like overgrowth and stuff like that. Maybe it will have like some of the Eldar kind of like ruins and stuff like that going along with it. Who knows what we're going to get? But we know that something is coming with the new season of Kill Team. We don't know if they're going to reuse some of the old stuff on each of the boxes. We don't know if they're going to make all new stuff like Octarius or Morok terrain. We do know that it's going to be back outdoors though, so it's not going to be the indoor stuff that we saw with the Kill Team Into the Dark. Now a quick message from today's sponsor. CMO Games has been selling Games Workshop products online for over 20 years. They carry the full line of Games Workshop products, including Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, Necromunda, Blood Bowl, paint tools, and more. Almost all Games Workshop products are priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games takes pre-orders for most Games Workshop products released at their earliest date possible. 12:01 a.m. on Saturday, they go live. Most of these pre-order products are also priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games offer free shipping in the US 48 with an order of $50 or more. Their customer service is top-notch, and they ship most orders within 24 hours. Visit CMOGames.com using the affiliate link in the description and let them know that you heard about CMO Games from Warhammer Man. Now, back to the video. So I'm really curious. I honestly don't know what's coming. I'm looking forward to seeing what it is. Games Workshop has produced tons and tons of awesome terrain over the years. Most of it has been out of print for at least months, if not years. And they could definitely get away with bringing some of that back like they did with the previous Kill Team season in like the middle boxes, just kind of having a full little battle zone of that stuff, even offering it separately. I definitely think people would pick it up. We do still currently have like a pretty cool wood set. These trees are pretty nice. So the idea that we're going to get some new kind of trees, overgrowth, something like that seems potential. There was also some terrain that Games Workshop made back in the day that was basically like invasive species of like crazy trees, plants, bushes, etc. It was pretty modular and pretty cool. It didn't do a great job blocking line of sight, and the rules were always a little bit sketchy on it. So it definitely wasn't the most popular. Maybe we'll see something like that come back instead of like more traditional trees. We obviously saw some more organic terrain in like the Heart of Gur set for warcry, which had like the addition of the meat trees and like all the bamboo kind of buildings and everything. Obviously that wouldn't really fit into a 40k setting. But we know that Games Workshop is open to doing like kind of alien trees or like something different. It doesn't have to be just like regular old natural trees. So I'm very interested as to what's coming. There's still quite a bit of the actual like faction terrain for Space Marines, Chaos, Imperial Guard, obviously some Tau and stuff. We have the Corn Skull Altar. We have the Death Guard, weird trees, the Necrons, the Orcs. So there's a lot of cool stuff, and definitely some of this will probably come back, hopefully the Munitorum armored containers, but we know now that some of it is gone, possibly for good, and I'm really just curious what's going to be replacing it. I wish I had the answers. I wish I could tell you guys for sure what's coming or what I expect, but the truth is, I really don't know. It seems like the majority of the terrain is gone, and it seems like a lot of it is gone forever. I hope a lot of it comes back because I absolutely love it and would like to grab some more pieces to finish out like big tables or add to my collection. So I guess realistically, we're probably not far off from the announcement of the new Kill Team box sets and the new Kill Team season. And realistically, that's probably going to tell us what the new terrain is going to be, or at least what style it's going to be in. There's always a possibility that they reuse the Morocco terrain in that. I think it's very unlikely since that's going to be in the starter set. But we basically see these pieces are the main ones in the starter set. So maybe it's going to use some of the other pieces as well. Maybe it'll be a combination of that and some new stuff. Who knows? But I'm really looking forward to what's coming. Games Workshop has some of the best terrain in the business. It is definitely on the pricey side, but it's really cool. It tends to interlock and be like super compatible. It always has like great amounts of detail with it. But the problem is with terrain is it's very heavy. The sprues are very thick, take up a ton of space. And the amount that they can sell a big box full of terrain for relative to what they can sell a box of models for is just no comparison. You get substantially more in one of these like $75 box sets of terrain than you get in a $65 kit of like Warhammer Elite Infantry. Or if you look at a current character for like $40 or something like that and compare how much actual plastic, how much actual space goes into like the box, the packaging, the weight, everything compared to one of these sets, you could easily fit 10 characters in the space that you would fit one of these, and the price is only 2 times as much. So we know it's not the best thing for Games Workshop to stock, to build, create, sell, but it's a very important part of the game, you know, for our immersion, obviously. So I'm curious if you guys have any speculations or anything like that as to what you think's coming. We know that there's a lot of terrain that has left the store in the last like 1 to 3 years. We know they have done a ton of cool terrain sets with Kill Team specifically and brought back what amounts to like nice kill zones where if you put a couple of those together, you could play big 40k on. But I'm really curious what's to come. So let me know what you guys think down below, your speculations, what you think is coming, why you think so much of the terrain is disappearing, and if they're ever going to come back and reprint it. We have seen in the past where they brought back the Sector Imperialis ruins after being gone for years. We know they probably still have all the molds to create this stuff. It's just a matter of them getting motivated and then basically marketing out the reproduction of old terrain, which I am all for. I love the new stuff and they do a great job adding in awesome, cool new things. But some of their old terrain is absolutely amazing and the price on it is just insane because it's just getting harder and harder to find. So definitely looking to hear back from your guys' feedback as to what you think's coming with the new season of Kill Team and what you think the next terrain set is going to be. Special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the video. Check them out to save 15%. Link in the description. That's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man and I'm wondering where has all the terrain gone? And I'm out of here.